Okay, let's talk about one of Australia's most stunning native flowers, the pink rock orchid. Now, it might look all delicate and pretty, but don't let that fool you. Its beauty is basically a disguise for this incredible story of resilience hiding out in one of the toughest places a plant can possibly live. So this is it, the pink rock orchid. Or, if you want to get scientific, Dendrobium Kingianum. If you're an orchid fan anywhere in Eastern Australia, chances are you've seen it dotting the landscape. But here's the thing, its home isn't the lush, soft forest floor you might expect. Not even close. You see, this flower's biggest secret isn't actually its beautiful petals. No, it's the incredibly tough, almost impossible place it chooses to call home. All right, so let's get properly introduced. We'll start by taking a closer look at the pink rock orchid, this deceptively beautiful plant. And that brings us straight to the heart of its story, its secrets as a rock dweller. This is where we get to uncover the just astonishing lifestyle that shows off this orchid's true, super tough character. And here it is, the key to the whole mystery. The pink rock orchid is a lithophyte. Now, that's just a scientific term for something truly amazing, a plant that doesn't grow in soil at all. Instead, it literally clings directly to bare rock. Which, of course, brings us to the big question, right? How on earth does a plant that looks this fragile manage to survive on a hot, dry, totally exposed cliff face? Well, it survives because it comes prepared. It's got this whole survivor's toolkit, a set of incredible adaptations, everything from its roots to its leaves, that lets it thrive where most other plants would just, instantly fail. Let's break down how it works.
Check this out. The roots have this brilliant dual-purpose design. First, they're like a sponge, soaking up every single drop of rain from the rock's surface in an instant. But then their white color acts like a natural sunblock, reflecting that harsh sunlight to keep the plant from basically cooking. How smart is that?
And then you've got the stems. These thick, succulent stems are called pseudobulbs, and you can think of them as the orchid's personal built-in water canteens. When it does rain, they swell right up, storing precious water that helps the plant get through those long, dry spells on the exposed rock. Okay, so now that we know it's a total survivor, let's just go back and admire the beautiful flower itself. You can really see its distinct parts here. You have the petals and sepals, and then that unique lip-like part at the bottom. That's called the labellum, and it often has these really beautiful deep purple markings. This orchid doesn't just have a biological story. It's got a human one, too. So let's dive into a plant with a past, which is all wrapped up in its scientific name. So, who was the king in Dendrobium Kingianum? Well, it was actually named to honor Admiral Phillip Parker King. He was one of the really important naval explorers who surveyed the coasts of Australia way back in the early 19th century.
But the story of its name doesn't end there. As you can see on this timeline, it was first formally described way back in 1844, and for over 150 years, that name was set in stone. But then, much more recently, in 2002, some botanists suggested reclassifying it entirely. And believe it or not, to this day, that change is still being debated, which just goes to show you that our understanding of nature is always evolving.
So, here's the debate in a nutshell. On one side, you've got the classic, widely accepted name Dendrobium Kingianum, and on the other, the proposed new name Phillip Parker Kingianus. While the scientists figure it out, for now, that original name is holding strong. So how did this super rugged rock dweller make the leap from a cliff face into our homes and gardens? Well, that brings us to our next section, from cliffs to courtyards. Let's explore why it's become such a gardener's favorite.
The answer is actually pretty simple. It's incredibly easygoing. In a weird twist, the very same toughness that lets it survive on a cliff face makes it one of the most popular and forgiving native orchids for people to grow at home.
So if you want to try growing one, the real key is to just mimic its wild home. That means absolutely no regular potting soil. You need a rocky, fast-draining mix. Give it plenty of sun and humidity while it's growing, and then, and this is super important, you have to give it a dry rest period. That's what encourages it to flower. And wow, the reward for that little bit of care is just stunning. We call it the pink rock orchid, but breeders have developed this incredible variety of colors. The flowers can range from those familiar pale pinks to a pure, ghostly white form. They call that alba. And even all the way to these shades of deep, rich purple. Now, all this popularity brings us to our final and, honestly, our most important point. We need to talk about a wild beauty that we have to protect. Because this orchid is so beloved, we all kind of share a responsibility for its future.
Because no matter how common it becomes in our gardens, we have to always remember where it truly comes from. Its wild home. Not in a cozy pot or a greenhouse, but right here, on sun-baked boulders and rugged cliff faces out in the Australian bush. This is the environment that forged all of those incredible survival skills we talked about.
And because it's so popular, it has official protection. It's listed under CITES Appendix 2, which is a major international agreement that regulates trade. It's there to prevent overcollection and make sure that wild populations are never, ever threatened. So the most important takeaway here is this. Admire them in the wild, but you have to leave them there. All the plants you see for sale are grown in nurseries. It is absolutely illegal to take this plant from its natural habitat. We have to protect those wild populations.
And all of this leaves us with a final thought. The pink rock orchid seems like just another pretty flower, right? But it's really a master of survival with a fascinating history. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other incredible stories like this are hiding in the plants and animals we probably see every single day?